I should have told you that. We are live. Hi, guys. How are you? And welcome to this Q&A session through the Royalty Elite Crown System, the place in the space where we bring on really amazing, gifted coaches, healers, and leaders who have got amazing questions that is going to literally help you. So I know that these questions, I know because I've got them here, written here in front of me, and I know there is not one coach that's never had this question, not one business builder. These questions are extremely relevant. They are so important, but this is about building your empire, but it's about doing so with ease, flow, and grace. So my name's Terry Messenger. You are on the business page of Transformation Queen, and my journey began in 2006. And my claim to fame is that I help other coaches, healers, and leaders to tap in to their zone of genius. I help wrap a world-class modality, expanding what they do so they can be the icon in their field. So my first question to you is, if you are watching this because you would like to tap into your zone of genius, you would like to really attract your dream clients, you would like to have some kind of a fluid, easy strategy that will literally help you to be able to be in that zone where you can just come to life, then drop it down in the comments. And I'm going to introduce to you a panel of people. But first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring them on one by one to introduce themselves. So we have in the house, hello, Wayne Brown.
How you doing, Terry?
I'm excellent, thank you. Tell us about you.
Okay, so my name's Wayne Brown. My company's Life Back on Track, and I call myself a life alignment specialist. And in life, we tend to start off with dreams and goals, wants, desires. And as we progress, we get pulled off our line by the educational system, our parents' expectations, our peer group, media, all of these things drag us off course. And I help people rediscover that alignment that they had and help them realign with it so that they can be a better parent, partner, human being, employee, whatever it is they desire.
Beautiful. That is amazing. So we are going to go to your question in just a moment. Now we have the beautiful Suze, and go ahead, Suze.
My name is Suze Chadia, and I'm a female empowerment coach, and I'm very fortunate that I get to help women who want to become irresistible in their life, and that means being able to lead a life of confidence and also honoring healthy boundaries and using the very powerful word no to say yes to themselves. So I've been very fortunate over the last 4.5 years to work in that space directly, as well as about 10 years plus in the fitness space and industry. So I have been able to impact lives as I go, and being able to be a part of this community is just showing men and women that that 2 letters of no is you saying yes to you and building the confidence to do so.
Wow, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be very, very excited to hear this. And bring on the gorgeous Leanne. Tell us what you do, Leanne.
Hello, everyone. I'm Leanne Vangelite from Health Coaching. So I'm a PT. I've been in the industry for about 35 years, and recently, probably the last 10, 15 years, helping women just sort of navigate getting older, feeling better, youthful body, loving food without guilt and shame, and moving in a way that feels good and makes sense to them, so that they can let go of the diet culture, let go of all the stuff that they've learned, and unlearn all those, the ways that don't feel good. So always in a feel good, new ways, new perspective, and following instinct and listening to the body, yeah, because exercise, it wasn't enough. You need to know, you need the whole picture, the whole woman. Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. I could not agree more, especially being a clinical hypnotherapist. And we have the gorgeous Lenny, all the way from Sweden.
Yes, exactly. Lenny, hello, from Sweden. And I am a mindset coach for parents to neurodivergent children. And I'm helping them to be really grounded and present and confident in their parenting and be able to reduce the overwhelm and unsecureness when raising a neurodivergent child, and to really be able to stand for their family values and thrive within the relationships with the kids and partner and life.
Beautiful. Now, what you guys are going to really notice is that every single one of us who is a divine coach, healer, and leader are coming from something really passionate, okay? And that means that when you get to work with a passionate person who really knows their work, like each and every person here, I obviously would not be representing them if I didn't feel that they would have the potentiality to be the best in their field. So I really want to let you know that these guys really know what they're doing. But what this is about is it's not about what they're doing, it's about positioning what they're doing in the online space, because we know that the online space is a place where people spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars trying to work out how to market themselves, being told to do it this way and this way and this way, just to leave people feeling quite disappointed, overwhelmed. And this is where it is my passion to come on in and listen to the heart of each and every very competent expertise here, and then guide them to being able to be that gift so that they will reach the people that are praying for them. And that could be you. So with no further ado, I'm going to address the first question that came up. And I have to say, this was a question that came up when I was coaching in my container. And I am a big believer that, in fact, when you are offering a service, if you are online and you've got a program, and even if you do your programs in retreats or, in person as an event, there is without a doubt that it is in my experience that when you can start to help to meet your client where they are at, right? Where they are at, meet them where they're at. So I'm not teaching any of these guys, their expertise in their specific field. What we are talking about is positioning, marketing, and calling in and attracting and designing the flagship program through the Zone of Genius. So this question of how do I develop the organic pipeline that will offer a high, mid, and low ticket service, and why is this strategy hold so much success? So that's where the question kind of began with you, Wayne. Now, firstly, can I just answer that first?
Sure.
Okay, so while I'm answering that, I am just going to remove the other panelists just to give us focus. So firstly, it is absolutely 100% through my experience that if you just have this one program or this one offer, and unless it's a really low ticket and a really no-brainer, right, you are really, what you're doing is, it's not that because I really want to discuss the niche and how that's taken out of context online, right? But the fact is that you are really eradicating perhaps people that are really wanting your service. So there's people that want to know, like they may not know you, So if they don't know you from a bar of soap, right, you can't expect them to buy your $10,000 program unless, of course, you have been extremely well branded, right? So that you've been out there, you've put your mark on the world and really made yourself a household name, which takes time, right? Or you've spent lots of capital on advertising. And I do want to remind our audience that this is about organic, not about having capital in the bank account where you go out and spend $1 million on advertising, because we'd all be flooded if that was the case. So that's the reason, firstly, Wayne, that I suggest it, because you want to be able to give your ultimate client who's really going, you know what, I like this guy. He's really saying something to me about my own life that I resonate with, you know, in the way of relationships, but yeah, not ready for the 10 grand, you know. And, you know, people are doing freebies out there, freebies after freebies. And yes, I am all about, this is a freebie, right? So I am all about adding value, but the low ticket gives them that beautiful, delicious, juicy, powerful way to really get to know more about what you do. And I would recommend, if with your low ticket, right? Actually, I'm not going to answer that, because I'm going to now ask you to ask a question around that. So what would you like to know about content, anything around developing your low, mid, high ticket program?
Well, the thing I've always been challenged with is deciding what constitutes low ticket, mid ticket and high ticket, and how do you give enough value that they feel that they want to progress up the ladder, but without giving too much value so that they go, well, I've got everything I need, and then scattering.
Well, the simple fact, if you were talking to some of the greatest gurus that happen to be men in the marketing league, like Jay Abraham, Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, right? What they will say is you can never add too much value, right? Because, you know, let's face it, you have a program that is, let's say, high ticket. You're bringing them in. They're getting to absolutely, it's like a smorgasbord. They're getting the whole deluxe element of going from where they were when they were stuck, attracting the wrong relationships, right? Right through to where they are when they've met their dream soulmate, and they've established their ground and all of everything that comes. So if you are giving them low ticket here, like my low ticket, where I am launching, is really very powerful. Like if I burnt everything else down to the ground, I would say this is the one thing I can do with my eyes shut. It gives people absolutely incredible value, and you know that, right? Because you're in there. Everybody says it too. And plus, it's not taking away from me, right? So I'm doing something I can do in my sleep. But at the same time, anybody in that program is not in my royalty elite. They're not doing all the modalities that are taking them into the land of, you know, where they're moving and shifting blocks and releasing. So my answer to that is give them on a low ticket. If you burnt everything down to the ground, give them the one thing you could do with your eyes shut.
Gotcha.
How does that feel?
That makes a little more sense.
Have you got any other questions around low ticket, mid ticket, high ticket?
Well, that was the main one, really. The low ticket is something that I could add value, and your statement of something you can do in your sleep. Well, I've been doing this long enough now. There's a number of things I can do in my sleep. So it gives me some options. So, yeah, that really makes sense.
Yeah, and I will add to that too, Wayne, that make it very laser lucid focused. So it's not giving them all of the things; it's giving them this. It's the number one thing, and I would say it's maybe the number one thing that you yourself had an encounter with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, got it.
Does that help?
Yes, I've just had a flashback, so yes, most definitely.
Okay, excellent. So we'll be looking forward to you rolling out that low ticket.
That's it.
But I will say though, and comes back to your question of how do I avoid giving too much away? Always speak from the top. Always speak about your knowledge, what you know, and all of those elements. And then when people are working with them, give them the opportunity of buying the high ticket, but then also give them the opportunity to meet them where they're at. And I personally, everybody's different, but I feel that really is from where my values stand. It really meets people where they're at, and it doesn't isolate people where they think, oh, I'm left out here. I've got no hope of ever working with Wayne Brown because he's too expensive, but I need his service. Like God only knows I need his service.
Yep.
So I'll get you to drop the link also of your service, and if you can drop that into the comments on the Transformation Queen page.
I can do that.
Excellent. Thank you, Wayne.
Thanks, Terry.
Okay, we are going to bring Suze. Woohoo! Okay, now let's make sure we have the right question here. Okay, I'm going to get you to ask me this question, Suze, in your own words. Oh, I can't hear you, Dal.
Sorry, I'd muted myself. Apologies.
That's okay. Gotcha.
So my question is, how do you identify your genius zone? Because there's obviously so many definitions out there around it, and it's quite overwhelming. And then how do you then translate your genius zone into a way of providing a service and value, and obviously serving and making the impact, and then monetizing that?
Awesome. A beautiful question. Now, first of all, if it is overwhelming, it's not right. What you are doing is you are looking too far outside of yourself, and you're looking for something that is going to be overwhelming. The genius zone, I can teach you right here and now, because that is it's what I do, right? The zone of genius. Have you ever heard of someone who has had something really bad happen to them in their life, right? Or something that's happened to a loved one or someone they truly care for, and they are so hurt, they are so burnt, they are so impacted that they go out and they make a foundation. You hear of famous people like that, right? People who make a stand. You see, now when I'm talking about the zone of genius within a person's life, right? When you are operating, I feel that because you're a coach and the kind of excellent coach you are, it's obviously going to come back to what was lacking and missing in your life, right? And that is if it comes from a real passion. Sure, there are people out there that are doing online marketing and, providing a business because it seems like a good idea. Okay. But they're not my people. So you may as well switch me off now if that's the case. I'm talking to the audience. My people are the ones who want to work from their passion, from their purpose. And so what it means to really go in there and find it is what does that stand for inside you? What is the stand? Like something that has happened to you somewhere back here where you've gone, no way. And what you are doing becomes highly invaluable. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Could I ask you a couple of questions around that? Would I have permission to do that? Okay.
Of course.
So, all right. So when you are talking about giving your, dream client your expertise, what can he or she expect to get when they come out of your program?
They will feel worthy. They will feel that they are enough. They will feel confident within themselves. And they will also surround themselves with the right audience in terms of friendship circles and ensuring that their environment supports their goals. And they'll also be able to say no with confidence.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's very important. So, what that tells me, if you are a passionate person, somewhere in your life, you have felt unworthy. Somewhere along the line, you have felt walked over, maybe even used and taken advantage of for your better nature. And maybe you were a people pleaser. And I'm just guessing this because I don't know you, that well. I mean, you are in my container, but we've barely spoken like this. Is that right, Suze?
Correct.
Yeah. So if I'm right and you are on track, right? And it's going to be very confronting if I'm wrong here for both of us. But let's face it, this is all about authenticity. If I am right with you and you are moving into the pathway of your zone of genius, there is a point where you were not made to feel worthy, where you didn't feel appreciated, where you said yes way too much and you realized that you should have been able to say no, right? So what that means is when you can go back to the place and the space, which I can help you do, that's not a problem, we can track it, right? And we can track back to a space and a place where something inside you in your value system went, and you may not have known it, but it trickled over. And as time went on, you probably attracted patterns and it went on and on and on and on until you landed in this space of where you are. Now, how to monetize that? Talk about that experience, telling that person out there what they're going through. Because when you meet your avatar, they'll think you're a psychic. Know your why. And this is a very well documented fact. When you know your why, and this is also intrinsically mapped into your why. Speak of the hope, the light, and the vision of where you've come to, what you have been able to acquire, and what you are giving to them, and speak with so much conviction, because everybody goes, oh, I need more confidence. Confidence is just an act. Okay, we can act confident. Certainty is the inbuilt, rock solid foundation that's going to give you that conviction and that confidence that people are really looking for. You'll be the authority. Does that help?
So much sense. Yeah, it makes so much sense of obviously communicating from that place of certainty. And yes, confidence is, inverted commas, the act. It's having the skills and tools to be able to move through that, which is clarity of thinking, to go through the empowerment, your network, all of those things add, and it's like a stacking effect. And yes, it is that psychic is what past clients that I've coached have related to, because I can go, I've been there, I've been Humpty Dumpty splattered all over the floor. I've gone through the Tinder swindler and multiply that by 10. So it's like
Wow.
now in the world that we live in, it's
Yes.
being able to communicate that from a place of compassion and love, and
Yeah.
operating from a place of ethics and service rather than a place of ego.
Absolutely, absolutely. And do you have any other questions around the zone of genius? You'll be getting more material and resources, I can tell you that, because also you're coming to the event on Saturday, so it's going to be huge on that one. But do you have any questions for now?
No, that is everything. Thank you so much, Terry.
Mwah. Thank you, Suze.
Thank you.
Come on down, Leanne, our personal trainer. And how are you, gorgeous?
Good, good. How beautiful was that?
Yeah, thank you.
I've never
And thank
heard
you
of the swindler. What was it? A Tinder swindler.
Tinder Swindler. Oh, the Tinder
that
Swindler. You've
before?
got to watch it on Netflix.
Funny.
Even, man, even I was interested in that show, and I wouldn't even do Tinder if I was single, honestly.
That was
But it's
funny.
definitely, put it on your list. It's really,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
worthwhile watch, especially if you like a bit of drama and a bit of reality thrown into the bargain. So, look, Leanne, I'm just going to bring up what you originally said. And this is firstly, I want you to just relax into this. I don't want you to be ashamed of it, because there is a lot of people think, oh my gosh, I can't admit that this is me. I can tell you this is me. This was me, girl, right? And this is still part of me. So I am just going to get you to read that. Can you read that for me?
Mm-hmm. Right. So what do you mean? What do they mean by, and I've done lots of training in the past, what do they mean by niching down? Because there's lots of ways of, everyone's got a version of niching down and how it works and what the criteria is for niching down and finding your avatar. And being focused on one thing, how do you put all your ideas and package it into a world-class service without being scattered? Because it's something that, it's sort of connecting up to that vision and holding the line, keeping on that mission, on that vision, without getting distracted by shiny objects. And every idea that pops into your head isn't necessarily a good idea. So,
okay, so I'd
how
like
you bring
to,
it in.
yeah, I want to open that up a little bit, because it correlates with the niching down, Bizzo. And I know you said, no, this is more about the shiny object syndrome, but it really is connected, because, see, there is so many different ways of looking at niching down. And that word, I hated it. I hated that word when I first heard it. And especially coming from where, you're talking about being scattered and having shiny object syndrome, girlfriend. I'm a magpie. So, don't really, you own that. You can own that, right? You're in my space, so own it. Now, the thing is that, I've got to stick to the teacher, the mother that is exhausted. I've got to stick to the single man. I've got to stick to the person who wants their body to be just right and she's over 50. Okay. Guys, get a life. I bet you didn't expect to hear that.
No.
The fact is, niching down is not about a title. It is about a character. Now, what if you were, let's just pretend you're not scattered and I'm not scattered. You don't have shiny object syndrome and my nose is getting longer and longer. So you don't have shiny object syndrome, nor do I. We're both really laser and boom, that's all we do. You would be batshit boring.
Yeah, I don't think it's my personality. I think I love the fact that we are, as you say, multidimensional. We can do lots of things, and I think it's okay to own that. I'm starting to believe
Absolutely.
it's okay
But
to
I want to
be.
help you. I do want to help you with this. I do want to help you with this. So I want you to go deeper here because I want to get your idea of scattered and give me a kind of an example of a day in your life or maybe a week in your life where you've done this and then you've gone over there or you've gone there. I know how it works, girl. I'm a professional. So tell me what that looks like. Just give me an example.
Well, like at the moment, I'm writing out a new course. I've already done the filming, and then I'm doing something else with PT. I'm doing videos. I'm doing lives. I'm doing pretty much it's very random. It's as it comes almost. I'm not very good at scheduling and planning ahead because I do have a lot of creativity that seems to just endlessly flow, and it'll just come up as I think of it, a topic or something that's relevant. I think so I think it's for me, it's not about one thing. I'm doing lots of things at once, hopefully with the same end result. And that is educating people and helping and adding value and getting them to change their thinking about things or opening their perspective or showing them that there's possibilities that they hadn't maybe thought of, that they actually do have choices and they're not stuck. And so it depends on the topic, but like tonight I did a quick live about shame. Funnily, we're talking about that, shame and fear and guilt and how that fits into the diet culture and how that's actually driven, that, it's not necessarily mentally healthy and the way that it's driven women to feel worse and go into the shame. And then I might be doing a quick live where I'm, I don't know, walking the dog and talking in nature.
And
I'm
what's
doing
wrong
a
with
video.
that? I feel like you're
To me,
describing me at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to say, to me, it feels quite normal just to be going flick, 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 flick.
Oh, that's why you
in the
came
one
into my
direction.
container.
That's
I
the
make
thing.
you feel normal.
I'm starting to
Okay.
believe it's okay. I'm not silly after all or stuck or confused. I think I just rely probably a little too much on the feminine energy and also my creativity. I rely a lot on that and I'm a little random. So that doesn't fit into the average, not average, the box that typically we're taught to, try and
I've
fit
got my
into.
phone here. I'm going to ring my kids and say they will tell you I am the most random person on the planet. Now, here's the little clue. I'm not saying everybody else out there is like this because that everybody is different, but this is still going to be relevant to everyone that is looking at niching. That is part of your personality. When you own it and you stop being ashamed of it and you start going, well, okay, I did that. It was random. Or I started looking at that. I started learning this. Okay, everybody does need to have a vision. Without vision, the people will perish. Everybody needs a plan because if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. However, when you have got a seamless strategy and a pathway that is very, very suited to your DNA blueprint, and it gives you the freedom to go, you know what? Ultimately, all these scattered things you've been talking about, all these random things that you say about yourself, that is showing your people all the different sides of you. For the love of God, don't try to be somebody else. So many people are looking over their shoulder, and what's happening is while they're looking over their shoulder, imagine running a race. And you're running a race, but then you look over, you were winning until you compared with the person over here and you said, oh, actually, I better go and turn around and try and be like them. You fall over, you stumble, they win the race. You have to keep your eyes focused on where you are going. So in other words, creating a program. So because you're a multidimensional person by nature, and you call it scattered and shiny object syndrome and all those things, so what you are better to do is allow you to come out, let it be your art, show up, let that, allow that all to come through. But when you you have to know, and this is why we've built the crown, so that people know by the time you've only been in my container for 5 minutes, but by the time you've built out your, I know what you're thinking. It already feels like it's 5 years.
Yeah, no, I wasn't thinking that.
But yeah, so you've got to know that all these creativities are in your vortex. And that's what the Elite Crown is about. It's about helping you to automate them and have that beautiful pathway of strategy, and letting you come out and be the magic and be the art. And I've seen a woman on the internet who's very much like you and I, and she's very much by soul led. She's all about the art, and she rolls up how she is. She's pulling programs out of her hat like almost worse than I am, right? She's doing that, or better, whichever way you want to look at it. And all of a sudden, she went down for a while and come back up with this big idea of this focused, high-ticket, extraordinary program of some kind of a university, and it totally stole her magic. I saw it. She soon woke up. She did soon wake up. If she watches this live, if it gets into her hands, she'll know who she is. But I know I'm really good at watching people, and I saw that it took away from her. So don't let anybody tell you who you should watch, what you should do, because as long as you have got a vision, a strategy, and a process, let your own art come through. Does that feel better?
Yeah, great advice. Yeah.
Does that feel right though? Does that resonate?
Yeah. Because I think in the past, what we've kind of been taught is to do things to get followers, do things to sell, do things to, so you're kind of jumping through hoops, trying to keep up, but it's not actually coming from the right place. It's coming from trying to do something to get something, rather than just showing up for whoever wants to follow, whoever wants to listen, learn, be part of it, feel the energy, all that sort of thing. That's the difference I think I've learned, is that the message, as you know, other coaches say, message is the message, art is the art, and whoever it's meant for, it will be for. You don't have to force it. So
and
I've
let
kind of
your
come to
true,
that
authentic character come through. That
Yeah.
is the piece. The piece is, you can tell when people are just a poster person, or they're just, they've got this script and they say the same thing, or it's very, and that's okay. Some people roll very well that way. Don't hear me knocking that. But for someone like you, that's not going to work, and it's not going to attract your avatar either. Okay, so authenticity would be, that's just coming back to yourself and being very true. So I guess the one piece that I would say to you is, through the crown, let's develop all of these things that are coming through you. But once you know them, you can point people to the place. It's when you don't know which way is up, then that's you don't have a strategy. So you do need to harness your creation, and that's why you're in this container.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So then you can meet people where they're at, because you'll be able to, rather than just create and not actually have anywhere for it to go. Which is definitely one in your container. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And let's go to our last member on the panelist, and it is the beautiful Lenny. Hi, Lenny. And I'll just get you to unmute. And because you have a beautiful Swedish accent, I'm going to ask you to actually read, and if you could just for me, and I want to hear you because I'm really training on voice activation here as well. So I really want you to speak with feeling. And
Yes.
speaking with feeling is really when we're breathing, pausing, and really taking things step by step. So if you can either read it straight off here, I know this has been your question. You can say it in your own words. It's up to you.
Yes. So I would like to get help with what strategies do you have or do I need in place, or what I would like to implement or create for being an exhausted coach, giving so much value to my clients, but at the same time also having the demands from a family, especially with neurodivergent children, that takes a lot of time and extra planning for that as well, but also working full time as I still do. And to be able to do that and help it to find a peace and harmony while doing that without feeling overwhelmed and still attracting my dream client.
Beautiful. Well, firstly, I want to remind you, Lenny, that what you have just discussed is that you are inside of your zone of genius.
Yes.
And that is because you have a neurodivergent child and you have a family and you are raising the family and working, and you are the best advocate to help people in your field that are on that same journey. So God, the universe, what you believe in has this extraordinary sense of humor that he will ensure that you are given every thorn, every adversity, so that you can understand your client better. So in other words, this is not happening to you, this is happening for you. So when you are, just think about it like this. Now, in a nutshell, you becoming that multi-dimensional person is going to be the game changer. Because what that's going to mean, I respect that, one of my favorite mentors who's passed on now talks about wearing all these hats. And I understand there's this hat, there's that hat, there's the mother hat, there's all of that. But the subconscious mind is so impressionable. If it feels that you are split into all these different people, then that's also going to throw you into and just see if this resonates, right? It's going to throw you into a situation where, oh my gosh, you're actually so capable. You are more capable than the average person, right? You have extraordinary resources, but what you're missing is the fact that what you're required to do is become this whole person where when you're at home with your family, you are this multidimensional genius. When you are serving your client, you are that person. I even like rampantly the way that I tell people off in my container. I do that. I do that in Voxer. I'm telling people off all the time. I'm telling my kids off, right? Because if I see that there's something happening that is not to their fullest potential, I'm going to say to them, why would you split yourself into so many things? Your subconscious mind's going to go, oh my gosh, I'm so worn out. Who's not going to be exhausted? I'm exhausted just listening to it.
Yeah.
But, when you actually own yourself. And also, when you are exhausted, get on that story and say, guys, I don't know how you do it. I'm exhausted.
Hmm.
Tell them about what your child did. You know, threw the porridge out the window. Oh, I'm making this up, by the way,
Yeah.
right? Everybody wants to know that is going to be attracted to you. Because if you try to combat your exhaustion and you try to be that person, you're going to fall into the syndrome of imposter syndrome.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's where you feel like you're a fake because, oh my gosh, I've got to turn up and show up perfectly. But then if you turn up and show up perfectly, your clients are not going to be attracted to you if they don't know what you are going through and what you're tending to. But would it be fair to say that the challenges that you meet, you do have resources to overcome it?
Yes, definitely. I do. Yep.
You do. I know you do.
Mm.
So that's exactly what you would do. You would do one of your magical, incredible strategies
Mm. Mm.
and gift it to a client so that you are actually really also gifting yourself.
Yes.
Do you have any questions around that? I know that you know, I mean, obviously the answers that I'm giving, I'm trying to explore them as deeply as I can in as little time.
Yeah, it definitely resonates, and I think that's you were real on point on there with the different hats. And I shouldn't be having the different hats. I am the same person the whole time, and I can be even the coach on with my kids and at the job as well. I don't have to be a different personality or whatever you like the hats. And I think that's really helpful to kind of integrate everything and just be me fully the whole time. So and really
Beautiful.
to talk about my journey. I've done this a little bit in my emails, but maybe I should do that more on the social medias about the strategies I'm using while I'm low, and actually be more giving it to my clients as well and helping them through that while they're there. So definitely, thank you.
And that's, you know, yourself as an NLP magician, that it's about that paradigm shift here where you change the way you think about it. So, oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, right. Your poor subconscious mind's been pushing this, pulling this great big trailer. All of a sudden, you've let go of it. Because you are owning yourself, embodying it, owning it, showing up, being authentic, attracting your dream clients because they want to know that you're in a complete chaotic mess sometimes too, because that's the nature of a family. And that's what makes life happen. Breathing people. So yeah, go out and be blessed. And thank you for that beautiful question, Lenny. And I trust that all the questions here today have helped our audience in some shape, way, or form.
Thank you.
Okay, so that is our little segment for tonight, and we will be back with more questions. And we will let you know. So make sure you've got notifications. Also, if you are really keen on the multi-dimensional element of really expanding your zone of genius, get on that event. If you're in Perth, it's going to be an absolute game changer. And if you are globally, you are going to get the best of the best up close and with us here. And you'll come into our Zoom while we showcase that. So if you've got any questions, please bring them to me. DM me if you would like to come on the show. And I will talk to you all soon. See you later, guys.